Hello friends. So welcome to lecture series on nonlinear programming. So today we will start a new topic, geometric programming. So we will see what geometric programming are and how can we solve some nonlinear problems based on this. So geometric programming was developed by Duffin, Jenner and Peterson for solving the class of optimization problems involving a spatial function called polynomials. It is very efficient technique for certain highly nonlinear and non-convex problems. If we have a nonlinear problem which is a complicated one or a non-convex problem, geometric programming is efficient. This technique is based on arithmetic and geometric mean inequality and therefore we call it geometric programming. We already know arithmetic mean and geometric mean inequality, that is arithmetic mean is always greater than or equal to geometric mean. We will use this inequality while we develop the algorithm and therefore these problems are sometimes called geometric programming problems. Now what is the theory? Let us discuss the theory basically. Now suppose u1, u2 up to un be any n non-negative numbers. Okay. So we have u1, u2, u3 and so on up to un. These are n non-negative numbers. Okay. Now suppose we have delta 1, delta 2 up to delta n greater than 0, okay, greater than 0 such that sum of delta I is 1. Okay. We have delta 1, delta 2 of delta n which are strictly greater than 0 such that sum of delta is 1 as we have already discussed in this slide. Okay. So we know that arithmetic mean is always greater than or equal to geometric mean. Okay. Now we can say these are the weights. Okay. So this into this, that is delta 1 u1 plus delta 2 u2 and so on delta n un upon sum of these things, sum delta 1 plus delta 2 plus and so on up to delta n, that is the arithmetic mean. Okay. Arithmetic mean of these numbers is greater than equals to u1 raised to power delta 1, u2 raised to power delta 2 and so on un raised to power delta n. This is the geometric mean of these numbers. Okay. This we already know, this is by the inequality arithmetic mean greater than or equal to geometric mean. Now sum of delta is 1, we are already assuming that sum of deltas is 1. So we can say that sum of delta I ui, I varying from 1 to n is greater than or equal to product of I from 1 to n ui raised to power delta I. So this can be easily obtained from this expression. Now if we take, say if we take delta I is equals to 1 by n for all I. If we take, suppose we take delta I equal to 1 by n. So what is the sum of all delta I? Delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3 up to delta n is nothing but n upon n which is 1. So this then this condition holds. Okay. So for this delta I we can apply, we can use this inequality. So we can obtain, if we substitute this delta I in this expression, so we will obtain summation I from 1 to n ui upon n is greater than or equals to product of I from 1 to n ui raised to power 1 by n. So that is simple arithmetic geometric inequality. You see what is this? This is simply u1 plus u2 and so on up to un whole upon divided by n greater than or equals to u1 u2 up to un whole raised to power 1 by n. So that is the sum of numbers, arithmetic mean of these numbers, that is sum of the numbers divided by a number, these are n in numbers, that is n, greater than or equals to u1 u2 up to un whole raised to power 1 by n, which we call as geometric mean of n non-negative numbers. Okay. So, this inequality we can easily obtain from this inequality. Now, let us assume that this term delta I ui as some capital Ui, suppose. Okay. So, let capital Ui is something delta I ui, this we are assuming. Okay. So, what we will obtain if we substitute this over here, that is of course for all I. So, if you substitute this over here, what we obtain? The summation I running from 1 to n, capital Ui is greater than or equals to product of I from 1 to n, and what is the small ui from here? It is capital Ui upon delta I. So, we substitute it over here, what we obtain? Capital Ui upon delta I whole raised to power delta I. So, this is the inequality which we obtain from the arithmetic geometric mean inequality. Okay. So, this inequality we will use while we solve some geometry programming problems. Okay. Now, first we will see what geometry programming problems are. So, this we have already discussed, and this also we have discussed. Yes, the inequality, this equality will hold when all are equal. The equality holds when u1 upon delta 1 is equals to u2 upon delta 2 is equals to un upon delta n. This you can easily check, you can take it say k. Okay. If it is k, then the left hand side will be nothing but what will be u1? u1 is k delta 1. What is u2? u2 is k delta 2, and similarly what will be un? It is k delta n. So, what will be left hand side? Left hand side is summation of ui, I running from 1 to n. So, it is k times, k will be common from all the ui's, then it will be nothing but delta 1 plus delta 2 and so on up to delta n, and it is 1. So, it is k into 1, which is k. Now, if you see the right hand side of this expression, then it is product of I from 1 to n ui upon delta I whole raised to power delta I, which is equal to u1 upon delta 1, which is k, u2 upon delta 2, which is again k. That means it is nothing but u1 upon delta 1 whole raised to power delta 1, u2 upon delta 2 whole raised to power delta 2, and so on un upon delta n whole raised to power delta n. So, it is equals to u1 upon delta 1 is k, k raised to power delta 1, k raised to power delta 2 and so on, k raised to power delta n, which is k raised to power delta 1 plus delta 2 up to delta n, and sum of delta I is 1. So, it is k. So, this is also k and this is also k. So, equality holds when u1 upon delta 1 is equals to u2 upon delta 2 equal to u1 upon delta. This we can easily say. Now, let us come to the problems, geometric problems. Now, if we have this type of, first we are discussing unconstrained problems without any constraint. Minimization of some function fx, which is fx is summation j running from 1 to n, cj uj x. Okay. Cj's all coefficients are, we are assuming, are strictly greater than 0, and uj has the form of product I from 1 to m xi raised to power aij. So, if you simplify this, then it is x1 raised to power a1j, x2 raised to power a2j and so on xm raised to power a1j. These aij may be in fractions, these are any real numbers, may be fractions, may be negative. Okay. And xi's are, we are assuming xi are strictly greater than 0, I from 1 to m. Now, this type of expressions we call as polynomials. Okay, this word derived from polynomials. So, we are calling it as polynomials because this may take fraction power also, maybe negative power also. Okay. So, we are calling it as polynomials. For example, we have this type of expression, function fx is equals to 1 by 2 x1 raised to power 1 by 3, x2 raised to power minus 1 by 3. It is a polynomial into S3. It is again a polynomial, and sum of two polynomial is again a polynomial. So, it is a polynomial for x1, x2, x3 strictly greater than 0. Okay. So, such type of problems where we have it is a nonlinear problem of course, because nonlinearity is there in the variables x1, x2 and x3. Okay. So, we have a nonlinearity involved in the problems. So, to solve such type of problems, such type of nonlinear problems, we use the concept of geometric programming problems. Okay. Now, let us understand how to solve the problems of such type by an example. Okay. So, let us discuss an example, so things will be clear. Let us discuss a simple problem first. Okay. It is minimization of f(x) is equals to x1 plus x2 plus 1 upon x1 x2, where x1 x2 is strictly greater than 0. Now, how to solve this problem using geometric programming approach? Now, let us call this as u1 plus u2 plus u3, where u1 is the first term x1, u2 is second term x2, and u3 is the third term which is 1 upon x1 x2. Okay. Our aim is to find out the optimal solution of this problem. Okay. Now, we have just studied that sum of ui's is greater than equal to, we have already studied the sum of I from 1 to n, ui is always greater than equals to product I from 1 to n, ui whole raised to power delta I, ui upon delta I whole raised to power delta I, where sum of delta I is 1, where sum of delta I is 1, I varying from 1 to n, and all delta I are strictly greater than 0. This inequality we have just seen. So, we will try to apply this inequality in this expression. So, u1 plus u2 plus u3, that is the sum of ui's, is greater than equal to u1 upon delta 1 raised to power delta 1, u2 upon delta 2 raised to power delta 2, u3 upon delta 3 raised to power delta 3, such that delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3 is equals to 1, and delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 are strictly greater than 0 by this condition. Okay. Now, what is u1? u1 is nothing but x1. So, x1 upon delta 1 raised to power delta 1, x2 upon delta 2 whole raised to power delta 2, and it is 1 upon x1 x2 delta 3 whole raised to power delta 3. So, it is equal to x1 whole raised to power delta 1 minus delta 3, delta 1 minus delta 3, x2 whole raised to power delta 2 minus delta 3, and next remaining terms are 1 upon delta 1 whole raised to power delta 1, 1 upon delta 2 whole raised to power delta 2, 1 upon delta 3 whole raised to power delta 3. Okay. Now, we want to minimize f(x). f(x) is nothing but sum of u1 plus u2 plus u3. Okay. We want to minimize it. In order to minimize this, we are getting an inequality f(x) is greater than or equal to something. So, if we are getting an maximum value of this expression, so that will give a lower bound of f(x). Okay. You see, f(x) is greater than or equals to this expression. Okay. So, to find out the minimum value of this f, we have to find out the maximum value of this expression. Now, in order to find out the maximum value of this, we first make it free from the variables, because the value of the variables are not known. We first make it, we first choose delta i's such that it will become free from the variables. Okay. If variables are involved, we are unable to maximize this expression. That is why we first make it free from the variables. Now, how to make free from the variables? You can choose delta 1 minus delta 3 equal to 0, delta 2 minus delta 3 equal to 0. so that it will be free from the variables. Okay. So, let delta 1 minus delta 3 equal to 0 and delta 2 minus delta 3 equal to 0, and we know that delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3 is 1. So, we from here we obtain delta 1 equal to delta 3 and delta 2 equal to delta 3. This means delta 1 is equal to delta 2 is equal to delta 3 and sum is 1. So, this means equal to 1 by 3. Basically, we have 3 unknowns with 3 equations. So, we are getting a unique solution of the right hand side also, which is fixed. Okay. So, what we obtain basically now, this is this values we obtain. Now, the maximum value of the right hand side is fixed because deltas are fixed. Delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 all are 1 by 3. When you substitute it over here, we are getting a fixed value of the right hand side. That means fx, what is the fixed value? The fixed value will be, you see, x1 raised to power 0 is 1, x2 raised to power 0 is 1, 1 by delta 1, delta 1 is 1 by 3, that is 3 raised to power 1 by 3 into 3 raised to power 1 by 3 into 3 raised to power 1 by 3, which is 3. That is fx is greater than or equal to 3. That means the lower bound or the minimum value of f is 3. Now, the question is at which point? What is the optimal solution? What are the optimal values of x1 and x2 at which value of fx is 3? You can simply, from here you can simply say that minimum of f is 3. Now, the question is how we can find out the values of x1 and x2 such that minimum value of f is 3. So, for that we already know this equality will hold when all are equal. So, the equality will hold when u1 upon delta 1 is equals to u2 upon delta 2 is equals to u2 upon delta 3. This we will use to find out, because this is an equality where we have the minimum value. So, this equality will be obtained. This is an equality. This equality we are using here. This equality we will obtain when all are equal, when these all are equal. So, this will use to find out the values of x1 and x2. So, what is u1? u1 is x1 and delta 1 is 1 by 3. What is u2? u2 is x2, again it is 1 by 3, and u3 is 1 upon x1 x2 and it is 1 by 3. So, this implies x1 equal to x2, and when you take these two expressions, from these two expressions what we obtain? We obtain x1 into x2 square equal to 1, that is x1 cube equals to 1 implies x1 equals to 1, which is equals to x2. So, that means x1 x2 equal to 1, and these are the optimal solution of the problem. Okay. So, when x1 and x2 both are 1, then 1 plus 1 is 3, which is a minimum value of f. Okay. So, in this way, if we have some problems, if we have problem involving the negative or the fraction power of variables, we can solve simple using arithmetic geometric mean inequality. Okay. So, let us discuss one more problem based on this. This is a simple illustration of the same thing. Let us discuss one more problem based on this. The problem is minimizing of f, which is equals to 5x1 plus 20x2 plus 10 x1 raised to power minus 1, x2 raised to power minus 1 and x1 x2 greater than 0. Now, it is same type of problem. Let us see how to solve it. Again, it is, say it is equals to u1 plus u2 plus u3. Okay. We have to find, this is f and this is equal to this. We have to find the minimum value of f. Okay. Now, what is u1? u1 is the first term 5x1, u2 the second term 20x2 and u3 a third term 10 x1 raised to power minus 1, x2 raised to power minus 1. Now, we will apply the same inequality, that is, this is greater than or equals to u1 upon delta 1 whole raised to power delta 1, u2 upon delta 2 whole raised to power delta 2, u3 upon delta 3 whole raised to power delta 3, such that delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3 is equals to 1 and all delta is are greater than 0. Okay. Now, this is equal to what is u1? u1 is 5 x1 upon delta 1 whole raised to power delta 1. What is u2? 20 x2 upon delta 2 whole raised to power delta 2. What is u3? It is 10 x1 raised to power minus 1 x2 raised to power minus 1 upon delta 3 whole raised to power delta 3. It is further equals to x1 raised to power, you collect the powers of x1 and x2, x1 raised to power delta 1 and it is minus delta 3, x2 raised to power delta 2 minus delta 3, and the remaining terms are 5 upon x delta 1 raised to power delta 1, 20 upon delta 2 raised to power delta 2 and 10 upon delta 3 raised to power delta 3. Now, again, in order to find out the minimum value of this f, we have to find out the maximum value of this expression, and for that we have to first make it free from the variables, and to make it free from variables we have to choose those delta i's such that powers will become 0, powers of the variable will become 0. So, we will suppose delta 1 minus delta 3 equal to 0 and delta 2 minus delta 3 equal to 0, and also sum of delta is 1. So, from here we obtain delta 1 equal to delta 2 equal to delta 3 equals to 1 by 3. We have a unique solution because we are having 3 equations with 3 unknowns. So, we are having a unique solution. So, we have a fixed value of the right hand side. What is the value of the right hand side that we can obtain? That is f will be greater than or equals to, this is x1 raised to power 0 1, x2 raised to power 0 is equal to 1, then 5 upon delta 1, delta 1 is 1 by 3, that is 15 raised to power 1 by 3 into 20 into 1 by 3, it is 60 raised to power 1 by 3 and 10 whole divided by 1 by 3, that is 30 raised to power 1 by 3. So, this is nothing but this is 15 into 60 into 30 whole raised to power 1 by 3. So, that we can compute, it is 15 into 15 into 4 into 15 into 2 raised to 1 by 3, that is 15 into 2, that is 30. So, this is the minimum value of this f. F is greater than or equal to 30, that means the minimum value of f is 30. Now, for which x1 and x2? Again, for finding out the value of variables at which x1 and x2, for which x1 and x2, this is 30. For that we will apply that the equality holds when u1 upon delta 1 is equals to u2 upon delta 2 is equal to u3 upon delta 3. So, what are the values of x1, x2 and x3? u1 upon delta 1 is equals to u2 upon delta 2 is equals to u2 upon delta 3. So, this implies what is u1? u1 is 5x1 upon delta 1 which is equals to 20x2 upon delta 2 which is equals to 10 x1 raised to power minus 1 x2 raised to power minus 1 upon 1 by 3. So, from here what we obtain? From here we obtain x1 as 4x2 and if we take these two, so we obtain 2x2 is equals to 1 by x1 x2 or 2x1 x2 square is equals to 1. When you substitute x1 equals to 4x2, so then it is 8x2 cube equals to 1. So, we obtain 8x2 cube equal to 1. So, this implies x2 equal to 1 by 2. And when you substitute x2 1 by 2 in this expression, so we obtain x1 as 4 into 1 by 2 which is 2. So, the optimal solution of this problem is x1 2, x1 equal to 2, x2 equal to 1 by 2 and the minimum value of f is 30. So, in this way we can solve such type of problems. Okay. Now, let us discuss one more problem based on the same lines. We write the conditions directly. So, how to write? Let us see. Now, what is f here? F is 15 x1 raised to power minus 1, x2 raised to power minus 1 plus 10 raised to 10 x1 x2 x3 raised to power minus 1 plus 25 x2 x3 and plus x1 x3 and x1 x2 x3 greater than 0. Okay. Now, let us try to solve this problem. Let us find out the minimum value of this f and what is the optimal solution. Let us try to find it. So, again we will write it how many terms 1, 2, 3, 4. So, it is u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus u4, where u1 indicate the first term, u2 indicate the second term, u3 third term, u4 fourth term. Again we will use that inequality, arithmetic geometric inequality. It is greater than or equal to u1 upon delta 1 whole raised to power delta 1, u2 upon delta 2 whole raised to power delta 2, u3 upon delta 3 whole raised to power delta 3 and u4 upon delta 4 whole raised to power delta 4, such that delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3 plus delta 4 is 1 and delta i's are greater than 0 for all I. Okay. Now, what is u1? u1 is 15 x1 raised to power minus 1 x2 raised to power minus 1, u2 is 10 x1 x2 x raised to power minus 1. Similarly, u3 a third term, u4 is a fourth term. Okay. Now, how many variables are involved here? Here we are having 3 variables x1, x2, x3. Okay. Now, we will first make it free from the variables. Now, let us collect the powers of x1, x2 and x3. Okay. Directly we can see directly that the power of x1 which we obtain from this expression when we substitute it over here is minus delta 1. When you substitute u2 over here, the power of x1 will be delta 2. Here there is no x1, so no power. Here is there x1 raised to power delta 4. So, what is the power of x1 we are obtaining? It is minus delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3 and we can substitute it equal to 0 because we want to make it free from the variables. So, minus delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 4. Okay. So, last term we are obtaining delta 4. Now, second equation with respect to x2. The power of x2 variable from this expression is minus delta 1. So, it is minus delta 1 plus when you substitute x2 this expression over here. So, power of x2 will be delta 2 and plus delta 3 and that must be 0. There is no term of x2 over here. So, no delta 4. Now, from the third variable x3. Okay. For third variable x3 it is 0, no power and it is minus delta 2 plus delta 3 plus delta 4 equal to 0 and also sum of delta is 1 as we already know. So, here also we are obtaining 4 equations with 4 unknowns, that means unique solution. Okay. That means a fixed value of the right hand side. Now, first we will find the values of delta i's. How we find the value of delta I? We will form a corresponding matrix. Matrix will be minus 1, 1, 0, 1. It is minus 1, 1, 1, 0. It is 0, minus 1, 1, 1. It is 1, 1, 1, 1 and the variables are delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, delta 4 and equal to 0, 0, 0, 1. It is 1. Okay. So, it is a system of linear equations. You can apply any technique to find the values of delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, delta 4. Okay. You can make it upper triangular matrix or anything to find out the values of these unknowns. Okay. Once you find the values of delta i's, then using the equality constraint, that is u1 upon delta 1 equal to u2 upon delta 2 equal to u3 upon delta 3 equal to u4 upon delta 4, you will find out the values of x1, x2 and x3, okay, which will give the optimal solution of the problem. Okay. So, in this way we have seen that if we have some typical nonlinear problems which are otherwise difficult to solve, but using an arithmetic geometric mean inequality, this can easily be solved. So, thank you very much.